Alright, what is up guys? We are back with more progress on the Mark II swap using this Sesh harness. Now, what I'm going to show you here today is just another new... I keep buying all the shit they sell, and then they sell something new that replaces the original thing, and it's better. So here I am again, redoing the Sesh harness. But here's what happens. So, you get the Sesh harness, and it comes with like a little auxiliary plug, which is, if you opt for it, it's this right here. And this is what like goes to your cluster and what you would have to wire in. So this is the trigger wire that would like trigger your fuel pump, coolant temp, oil temp, all that stuff. The odd part about this is you have to wire everything up yourself. Like, see, I have like the end stripped here because this is how I did it before they released what I'm about to show you. So this thing would plug into your Sesh harness. You'd have to wire this up, splice it into your fuse box, wiring, all that stuff that went into the cluster. But I'm not going to be using this anymore because this, I believe, was a $99 add-on. And then they recently, just like 2 weeks ago, released this right here, which is pretty much the same thing, except this has direct connections that go into your fuse box, into the G1 and G2 slot. And then, I don't know if you remember that fuel pump lead we showed you. This actually has a connection to the fuel pump lead, so it's more seamless when doing it turnkey. It's not like independent like it was before. And then obviously we have the connection that just goes into the harness where the auxiliary one would be. The ease of this is, one, your fuel pump is turnkey. I was having some issues with mine. And two, you don't have to go splicing. You don't have to doing anything. You just take out your stock things that were in the G1, G2 slot, or if you're already VR swapped, you probably don't even have those because I don't have mine. Plug these in, plug this into your thing, and then I tried to get everything working with a Mark II clock. That's starting to be a little bit hard now, so I'm just going to be using the GTI VR6 tack that came with the car. This one right here. So if any of you guys are doing this is probably what you have in your Mark II. Now this is out of a Passat or like a GTI or something like that. The only bad part about it is all the cables are white now. Everything pretty much past like 2004 or 5, all the cables were white. So you pretty much, the way I spliced into this was I checked what the wire was for. I looked at a pinout of pretty much this entire thing right here. I counted all the individual pins, went into it, spliced the wire, and that's how I did it for every single one of those wires. But now I just leave this plugged in. I don't have to splice shit. I just pretty much plug that into the G1, G2 slots. This picks it up no problem. I don't have to splice into this, and everything in the clock should work. So you should still probably pick up a tack converter. That would be useful if you're putting a 6-cylinder into a 4-cylinder car, but hopefully this thing should give me no issues now. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can put this back in, and we'll see it there. Alright, so here we have what every Volkswagen fuse box ever looks like. Just a big mess of spaghetti and shit that you don't even really want to look at for more than 10 seconds. But mine never had a G1 or G2 slot. I'm assuming that was removed when previous owner did the VR swap, or whoever did it. Yeah, so all we have to do is literally plug in that thing that I left outside. So this thing came labeled G1, G2. Literally couldn't get any more simple. To make it easy though, I don't know how many people know this, but these clips have these little these little like nibs on them, and these are not like you can just push them straight down. You might feel like you have to like go like this to them, but on the fuse box, I don't know if you ever know this, but this little tab right here slides over like, I don't know, maybe like half a centimeter or something. And what it does is it kind of unlocks all those tabs so you can pop them straight up instead of trying to like go in like at an angle and click it down. It doesn't work like that. Like this fuse box literally has a lock for these things. So you just slide this over and then you can pull stuff straight in and out. So yeah, you might have this clip right here already there. So essentially you can go off of this red one or this one that's already there, but essentially G1 is going to go right here, G2 is going to go right next to it. Simple as that. They should come marked to like these one games right here. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in. Nothing too complicated. You don't need to see me do it. All right, cool. Those two are in now, and now all that's literally left is plugging this in to the auxiliary, which I put right over here, and then just plugging this one up to that fuel pump lead. Cool. So I'll go ahead and route these wires real quick. I'll show you how I did that. All right, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how much of this you guys can see down there, so I'm gonna put this over here, just bring it next to like this. Okay, and I'll give it a little bit of slack. This is just going over the steering rack behind the little mount that goes to this like rail right here. Just click it into the auxiliary port in the Sesh harness. There it is. Awesome. And then I'm gonna run this through the other side where I have my fuel pump loop. All right, guys, it's a new day. It's hot as hell. I don't really know why I stopped recording. I think I got distracted yesterday, but I just recently installed the plug and play kit for the Sesh Motorsports harness. So let's go ahead and take a look at that installed and plugged into the Mark III cluster. All right, once again, we're back with all of this, but I have the connectors plugged in. I wired up my my fuel line. Still gotta clean all this up. Wired it all up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn the key right now. I just kind of like plug this in outside of the spot where it's supposed to go. Turn the key. You see the clock's still working. I have always thought this to like turn off at least, but I guess this is just something that keeps running in the car. Like I said, I don't really have too much experience with that, but I hope it doesn't like drain my battery or anything. And then so I turn this on, and everything works exactly like it should. Fuel's working, and then I'll go ahead and see if I can start the car. Let's see. Whoops. There we go. Check engine light, of course. That's mostly because I deleted my secondary air intake system and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, everything seems to be working fine. Got a blinking coolant light. Coolant's all full. I think it's flowing. It's not overheating. The fan's working. So, just another Volkswagen thing when you Frankenstein parts like this. So, overall, install was extremely simple. I really wish they came out with that at the time that I bought the harness, so I didn't have to deal with that other plug. But so far this thing's coming out really good. I just gotta pretty much mount that, put the seats back in. I'm installing all this, the rear mounted battery, and then I have like a subwoofer and stuff in here, so I'm building like a base for it. But yeah, after that I'm gonna throw back in all the interior and take it for a test drive. All right, and that's pretty much going to be it for today's video. Short, quick, simple. Yeah, go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know. Ask them in the comments, and I'll see you with whatever I have next for this thing. Thank you. Real quick, before I wrap it all up, I just have one question for all of my VR6 swap people, or just regular VR6 people, wiring and everything. I changed a little bit of stuff. I redid like the connectors and kind of like, before back here, this hose used to go like all the way, like wrapped around, almost touching the firewall. I just kind of like changed it, made it face a little bit more down. But when I started it, there was like so I know that I spilled some coolant right back there when I was taking out like all the blower motor and everything like that. Spilled some coolant on there, and I'm almost like certain the coolant like went on back here and stuff. So when I went to go ahead and fire it up, I saw like a little bit of white smoke coming out from up here, like the backside area, and like kind of like a weird clicking. People have told me that, like, I mean, it's plugged into the same ECU, but people have told me it might have been like the injectors clicking, or like the ECU maybe like relearning itself, new wirings, just, I don't know, stuff like that. But I wanted to hear your thoughts and opinions if you ever come across anything like this where you're getting like a very weird like kind of smoke coming out of the back. There's an extremely very light white smoke coming out of the exhaust, but I think it's because it was still cold. I don't even think I ran it till it was warm. But yeah, and then both of these hoses were running very hot as I kept kind of like pouring coolant into the system. But yeah, and then they never seemed to cool down, but I pretty much turned it off and then let it sit for another like day or two with coolant full, letting all the air like bubble out and everything. Turned it back on, and then I had no problem with it. No ticking noise, no smoke, no nothing. So I'm wondering if that's something I should be worried about or just let it be. But yeah, this thing's coming out well. Can't wait to have this thing on the road again.